Hello everyone. In this video, you're going to learn how to change your horizontal navigation to vertical navigation, and then how to add a more appealing navigation link. Okay, that is like PseudoClasses. By using PseudoClasses, how to make your navigation link more appealing. So let's start with the vertical navigation concept. So for this, what we are going to do, normally we will have the navigation in the top of the page, right? That's what we learned so far. So we are going to make it like a vertical navigation. We are going to bring that horizontal navigation to as a vertical navigation, as a 2-column layout. Okay, this is the body content and this A could be the navigation, that bar. Okay, so how we are going to do that? First thing, obviously we are going to make the 2-column layout, right? So for that we have to use float property. Okay, so to make that navigation to appear in the left side of the body, then you have to say float left, so that the navigation will appear in the left side. Okay, that is the first concept that we are going to apply. And the second property is display property. Okay, so we can normally all the elements will have its own property, like paragraph, heading, H1, all those elements are black level elements. That means it takes the whole viewport. And image and other span elements are called inline element. We have already discussed about these things. So the inline element will take only the space that is needed. Okay, so now we can actually change those default properties. Okay, so we can make the black level element to inline element and inline level element to black level element by using display property. Okay, so let's explore it in W3 School website. You can see there are four values, possible values are there. The display property can have none, inline, black, inline, black. So in this example, this one is clearly explained. For example, you can see the first paragraph, the class is EX1. The paragraph is just with the class EX1, so that is none. So it doesn't appear. When you say display none, then it doesn't even appear. You can see, don't see the hello world anywhere, because it is just not displaying the content. When display is none, it will not get displayed. Okay, so if you look at the second paragraph, you can see EX2 is the class name. If you look at the EX2 class, you're using display inline. So the display inline property is applied on this content, hello world. So that is inline. So when it is inline, you can see the hello world appear in inline, and it does take the space whatever is needed. Normally, if you recall, the paragraph is a black level element. It just takes the whole viewport as shown in here. Like it will just take the space, the whole viewport. Okay, the whole viewport space. But here, since you say it is inline property, it just convert the black level property of the paragraph and just displays it in inline. Okay, so that is called inline property. That is how the inline property display will be handled. And the third paragraph, you can see EX3. Okay, so the display block, you can see it is getting displayed in as a black level element, which is the default paragraph value. For example, if you can apply this to an image. Image is an inline element. So if you apply display black to an image, it will just take the whole space what is needed. Okay, so that is how the display property would work. And there is fourth value called inline black. So what will happen? It will just get displayed as an inline element, but it will add some space above and below. Okay, so it handles it just takes the property of black and inline. Normally, if you take the black level element, so you can see this is the black level element, it adds some space above and below when it takes the whole viewport. So the inline will not add any space, but when you say inline black, it will take the space horizontally. It will just take the space what is needed, but when you look at the vertical property, it also adds some space above and below. So that is the property of inline black element. Okay, so you can just select whatever is appropriate on your final project. So when you actually change the horizontal navigation to vertical navigation, what are the things that you have to consider? The first thing is you have to create floating, so that the navigation will appear as a floating left, to the right content. Okay, so that is one thing that you have to consider. And the second thing that you have to consider is always you have to make those navigation as a bulletin point, like this list element. You have to make the navigation, and you have to make a list element so that it will appear one after another. That is the way to display the elements one after another, right? So we are going to bring all the navigation and we are going to list it as a list element so that it will appear like this. Okay, next what we are going to do, we don't want this bar, the underline, and also we don't want this bulletin. Okay, so we want to take off all these things. For that, we have already learned how can you take the bulletin point. You can say that list style type none so that the bulletin point will go away. And also to take this the underline, we have already learned text decoration none. Okay, that will remove the text decoration. And the final thing is we are going to make this list as an inline. Normally it will take the whole space. We are just going to say that this should take the space whatever is needed so that it will float exactly in the left side of the content. Okay, so for that we are going to use display inline property. So we are going to combine all the things whatever we learned so far so that the horizontal navigation will get converted into vertical navigation. So we are going to practice this concept in our lab practice, so you will get more familiar with this concept. So next we are moving on to the next concept called PseudoClass. So the PseudoClass are used to change the property of the hyperlink. Okay, so there are different values. So this that link, visited, focus, hover, active. Okay, so there are 5 classes. PseudoClass it's like kind of all of them belongs to navigation. Different five properties or like all these 5 will be applied on a link. That's why it is called PseudoClass, which is different from other elements that we have seen so far. All the 5 elements, all the 5 property values will be applicable to one particular navigation. Okay, which is different from the things that we learned so far. Only one property will be applied. That means that controls that particular value. But this one has the control over all these 5 different activities. Okay, so if it is confusing to you, we can refer it in W3 School website. You can see this is what we are going to do. When we hover over, it changes the property. So there is a very good explanation for this. Okay, so so you can see I'm just going to make it like, already I visited this page before, so it appears like okay. So already I visited. So let's look at that. So when you hover over the link appears as hot pink. Okay, when you actually select the link, when it is active. Okay, so if the hover property will help you to set the value when you hover over the link. So you can see it is getting displayed in the pink when you are hovering over the link. When you actively clicking it, so you can see here we have say it is blue. So whenever you are clicking it, it just gets displayed in blue color. Okay, so and then when it is visited, already we have visited this, so it appears in the link. So when we didn't do anything over that, then it will appear in black color. Okay, so all those 4 values are applicable on the particular link. So that's why it is called PseudoClass. So it has 4 values: link, that means the normal value; visited for the visited link; hovering over; and active. Okay, so these 4 values are possible, and you can apply. You have to apply like if you want to apply all the 4 properties, then you can simply specify what are the properties. Doesn't need to be only the font color. It can be you can give the background. You can just set it as a button and change the border. You can just do whatever you want to do. For example, let me show my website where see when I hover over it, it changes from black color to white gray color background, and the font is changing to red color. Okay, so like that you can just apply based on your creativity. You can apply any property values. Okay, all those 4 values are applicable. Okay, so we'll practice it in the lab session. So the next video we're going to learn about position property and then the CSS sprites. See you in the next video.